Hey everyone, it's Coach Donna, and I'm really glad to be with you again. I hope you guys had a great time in Module 1 and creating your dream boards. I can't wait to see what you guys have created. I'm hoping you're willing to share, but it is yours, so don't feel obligated to share. But if you're willing to, I think we're going to have a great time in the next webinar. And today, what we're talking about is dare to accept yourself fully. This isn't actually always easy to do. And even today, there's things that I struggle with. But overall, I've come to accept myself, I think, fully. And that includes my imperfections. And that's what I want you to look at, is accepting yourself for all the things that make you unique, whether they be imperfections in your mind or whether they be your strengths and your superpowers. Oftentimes, when we have trouble or struggle with accepting ourselves, what happens is that we become our biggest block to achieving our goals and success. And so, by working on the foundations of self acceptance and moving forward through those, that's where the magic will happen. That's where you will feel the freedom from limiting beliefs. You'll feel the freedom from insecurities and from wondering what people really think of you to not really minding that much what people think of you. And that's one of the gifts I think I've found from growing older, is that my imperfections don't bother me as much. I will still, go when I'm looking at a photo or I'm listening to myself do these videos, I will go, oh no, and put the face palm. But overall, I've found that growing older has given me the gift of self acceptance. And when did I really realize that? Was one time I was on a plane and I was sitting beside this young man who was going to do a mission in South Mexico, and I was on my way to Mexico City to help with a finance team in Shell. And he was sitting there, and I started to engage him because he just looked like he was a happy guy. So I thought, you know what, I want to get to know this guy. And he started talking about the mission and his excitement for what he was going to do. Just it was just exuding from him. And all of a sudden, he said to me, "Do you mind if I pray for you?" And I said, "Okay, that's fine." And it wasn't my first rodeo. I knew what that meant for someone like him. And that meant he was going to pray right there in the moment on the plane as we were waiting on the tarmac to deboard. And years ago, that would have bothered me. I would have been uncomfortable with the public spectacle of what that looked like. I would have been uncomfortable with the idea that someone considered me broken, thereby proving to me that my beliefs that I was broken were true. And I would have avoided it like the plague. But the great thing about what I said growing older is I've become a lot more comfortable with uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable situations. And so I said, sure. And I also knew what that meant is he was going to grab this claw hand and he was going to pray over me. Right there in the seat. He was in the middle. I was on the aisle. I knew other people were listening to us. I felt that some people were uncomfortable with what was happening, which kind of made me smile a little bit because I think everybody needs that sometimes, just that slight feeling of discomfort. It helps you grow. And anyways, he goes through this whole prayer. He finished his prayer and he said, "God can heal you." And I sat there for a moment and smiled. And I wasn't going to do this to him initially, but then I thought, no, you know what? I need to share my wisdom as well. I need to share my journey as well as he sharing his. And so what I said to him was this: but what if God doesn't want me to change? What if he intended me to be this way? What if my disability was part of what my purpose was going to be? And he's new in his faith. So I don't think it completely resonated with him at the time that God could maybe just want me to be that way and he wasn't going to heal me. And that's all great. I'm happy that he is so staunch in his faith, that he loves his faith, and it brings him so much joy. So I didn't push it. But it was in that moment when I said that I realized, okay, Donna, you've actually really just shown the growth that you've had and how much you really do accept who you are, your imperfections, and your strengths, and what your purpose is supposed to be going forward. And this is a huge breakthrough. And that was part of my journey to actually shift my career. I've been thinking about it before that, but that was a huge signal to me that I was ready and that I had finally, truthfully, publicly accepted who I was comfortable with who I was proud of who I was, and and I was going to make success of that. And so this is what this module is going to do for you. It's going to be the start of a huge change. And it's going to help you build the foundations to elevating your life. Because once we can accept our imperfections, once we see them as the fabric of who we are and who we were meant to be, both our imperfections and our superpowers, when we combine that, we are truly, truly moving towards elevating our lives, our relationships, and our purpose. So go ahead, read the module. A lot of it is, again, building the foundations. We're going to be doing a lot more work on finding your superpower. This is just building the foundations of that. So do your exercises daily, reread the module, come back to this video if you want to rehear that story I just told. Call me if you need to, email me if you need to. I'm always here for you guys whenever you need to talk through some things, particularly if you're struggling with accepting some imperfections. If you want extra tools, just give me a call. And I will see you in the next module. Thanks, everyone.